When you pull up to the pump today, do you still have a choice what goes into your engine? Or is the decision already made? Without a nationwide awareness campaign or any warning labels, petrol stations across India quietly replaced standard fuel with E20, a blend containing 20% ethanol. Commuters began noticing the effects almost immediately. Mechanics reported fuel lines corroding, older car engines violently sputtering, and water pooling in tanks. Even vehicles that avoided a trip to the repair shop suffered a quiet penalty. Drivers watched their daily mileage steadily decline as the new blend burned less efficiently. The automotive industry quickly distanced itself. Manufacturers refused to honor warranties for engines damaged by the new fuel, and insurance companies walked away from covering the repairs. Yet 20% is only the beginning. The government has already approved the rules for E85 and even E100, paving the way for pure petrol to vanish entirely. To understand why a policy is rolling forward despite the obvious toll on everyday vehicles, we have to look past the mechanic's invoice and examine the nation's balance sheet. Every year, India spends billions of dollars importing crude oil. This creates a permanent drain on the economy, leaving the country vulnerable to global supply shocks. The economic logic is straightforward. Replace imported crude with domestic ethanol to keep capital inside the country's borders. To capture those savings faster, the government abruptly moved the deadline for nationwide blending forward by 5 years, compressing a 2030 target down to 2025. This acceleration provides an immediate boost to the domestic supply chain, specifically the Indian sugarcane farmers, who grow the raw material for these massive targets. The scale of this transition raises a serious question. Is this primarily a push for green energy or a massive state-sponsored redistribution of wealth? Following the mandate, agro-processing facilities and sugar mills experienced staggering profit surges, sending their stock prices skyrocketing as they processed the nation's new fuel. And some of the most lucrative companies at the center of this supply chain are deeply tied to the political architects driving the policy. The national spreadsheet is now undoubtedly thriving, but the rapid creation of this new corporate wealth is being subsidized by the accelerated wear and tear inside your car's engine. Automakers are now under immense pressure to keep pace, forced to completely redesign their engines to handle high ethanol, flex fuel standards. They require specialized fuel lines, distinct electronic sensors, and robust engine components, making them significantly more complex and expensive to manufacture. India is not the first to attempt this transition. Brazil successfully runs a nationwide flex fuel economy and is often held up as the global benchmark. But Brazil's transition took decades. They built a mature ecosystem through long-term public awareness campaigns and a gradual adaptation of their entire automotive fleet. Unlike Brazil's slow, measured adoption curve, India implemented a highly compressed, nearly vertical rollout schedule that gave drivers almost no time to prepare. The public uproar stems from a rushed execution that forces immediate compliance, rather than a rejection of ethanol itself. We are witnessing two opposing realities. The country strengthens its geopolitical standing and internal economy precisely while the individual citizen's primary asset degrades. For the everyday commuter, the cost of premature engine wear, necessary repairs, and lost fuel efficiency acts as a quiet, invisible tax. As the market shifts toward higher blends like E85, compliant vehicles will transition from a consumer option to a strict legal necessity. This impending shift threatens to crash the massive used car market, stripping the resale value away from millions of older petrol vehicles overnight. The entire automotive ecosystem is forcibly redesigned from the top down, with the government making sweeping infrastructure choices that overwrite the preferences of the people. When the fuel in every tank across the country changes, who truly wins the most? The nation, the industry, the farmer, or the citizen?